What's up, YouTube? It's your boy RushMoreRick. We're back with another reaction video. We are reacting to villains who were completely right. Let's tap in.
Villains that were low-key right. By the way, when I say low-key right, that doesn't mean I agree with their opinions fully.
Nah, yes it do.
Yes it do, nigga. Actually, because half of these, I'm not gonna lie, they were tweaking. But anyways, back on track. First up, Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Alright, so if you don't know who the Doc is, he's basically the main villain of Phineas and Ferb. And I'm not finna explain Phineas and Ferb, everybody should know that show. But he was basically infamous for making a lot of inventions. And for some reason, every single one of his inventions ended with a thon. The Annihilator-a-thon, the Death-a-thon, the Unemployment-a-thon. I know a lot of y'all are suffering from that one right now. But to sum it up, he's the main villain in this world. And everybody hates him. But in all reality,
nah, we need the fucking job-a-thon. We need to start zapping these niggas, and when they get zapped, these niggas got corporate jobs. We start zapping these niggas and they spawn in the McDonald's drive-thru, or they spawn somewhere. We need the job-a-thon immediately. Niggas need jobs.
I don't think he's that bad of a guy. Matter of fact, I would even say that he's a good guy at the heart. And the main reason why I say that is because when you look at his backstory, gee golly, that shit was horrible. I mean, he was very lonely. He had no friends. Nobody wanted to be around him. He literally made a balloon his best friend. And also,
that's every
his
supervillain though, right?
Absolutely hated him. I mean, for God's sake, they didn't even show up to his birth. How the fuck that's possible, I don't know, but they did that shit. And then not to mention, when he got home, his life was even worse. Because his mother didn't love him because he wasn't good at kickball, of all things in the world not to be good at. Like, what the his dad hated him so much that he made him his personal garden gnome. And he wouldn't allow him to move because it would mess up the aesthetic. Like, that. What was wrong with these people? I think
don't remember his upbringing being that bad.
To a foster home and do what they're doing with him now. Not to mention, I mean, just look at this. He was extremely choppy. So you already know none of the hoes wanted him when he was growing up. Like, look at this nose. Why
that boy
is it
Dabo
so
Doofenshmirtz.
Buddy
right
could probably smell Mars from here, man. I know Buddy's worst fear is India. I'm not gonna lie, he would probably die. My fault, that was a bad joke. I could have been talking about India, love that. But I think the thing that hurt him most about his childhood is that he always spent his birthdays alone. And honestly, for a kid, a birthday is like the most important moment in your life. But this right here leads me to why I think he isn't a bad person. Because since he had such a horrible experience on his birthday in his childhood, he made sure that no matter what, his daughter would never experience the same thing. And in one episode, he threw a massive ass birthday party just for her. And even though she hated it because he went way overboard. Like, Buddy bought a whole bomb instead of fireworks. I'm not gonna lie, it's never that serious. This shows that he really does care about his daughter, and also that he does have a heart, which is why you can never get me to hate this guy, bro. I mean, imagine having a childhood like that. Who wouldn't end up as a villain? Like, let's keep it a beam. Like, his dad literally made him be a gardener. Like, if my dad did that to me, I would want to rob a few grandmas too. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, there's no way he could be such a bad guy if even his ops don't really hate him. I mean, even though Perry and Doc had their differences, they really honestly look like best friends sometimes, man. Like, I can imagine them on a FaceTime call laughing their ass off, just dissing each other, talking about, oh, I'm finna get your ass next time, being each other's favorite op on some shit. I don't know, man. In all honesty, everything he did is out of a trauma response. And a lot of what he did was also to help his daughter have a better life than he did. And even though that's a selfish reason, you can't tell me right now with a confident face, if you had his childhood, you would do it any different. Because I sure can't. So that's why.
Shit, if my mom and my dad ain't show up to my birth, I'd be probably fucked up too. Spraying niggas with the job-a-thon. Getting niggas employed and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
He was really a horrible villain. He's just broken like we all are. And even though not all of his reasons were completely morally correct, I can't say his intentions were wrong. The execution part is just bad. Like, you don't need to blow up the whole tri-state area. Plus, a lot of the stuff in this cartoon was just extreme. Like, you remember that firework bomb I just mentioned? Yeah, he accidentally strapped himself up to that, and somehow he got shot off into the air and it exploded. And in the real world, he would have for sure died from that. I mean, we would be singing RIP in the funerals. But this is a cartoon and wildly unrealistic. So the next episode, he was right back to normal. Like nothing ever happened. Not a broken bone or a scratch on his body. I'm not gonna lie. We could have at least gave him a concussion or something. But if you think that's unrealistic, then oh boy, buckle up for the next villain we're finna talk about.
Oh yeah.
Ken is missed.
Nah, see, Ken, right? B movie is a top 5 all-time movie in my eyes. I don't give a fuck who you ask. You know what I'm saying? Over the Hedge is number 1, unanimously, whatever the fuck the word is. And 2 to 4, B movie could be anywhere in there. But Ken, that nigga had every right to crash out. You know what I'm saying? Not only did that nigga lose, not only did he lose his girl to a fucking bee, But that nigga lost. When I say he lost everything, bro, and then like niggas ain't seeing. The bees low key ruined the world in that movie. Anyway, they ruined the world in that movie.
Understood. Let me break it down though. So if you haven't watched this movie, basically the bee movie is about a bee that graduated college but didn't want to work anymore. He wanted to be free. So he left his little beehive and met a human named Vanessa. And somehow he ended up in a grocery store and found out that humans sold honey, but they didn't give any of the bees commission for their product. So he then proceeds to sue humans for stealing their product. And then it turns into this whole big lawsuit.
To the white man?
Who
That's a golden scene.
Whatever. That's not what we're going to talk about. What we're here to talk about is this bee, Barry, and this girl, Vanessa, relationship throughout this whole movie. Because yeah, they're not just a comedic duo, they turn into actual lovers. And see, the way that this started is that Barry asked Vanessa to help him sue the humans, which she agreed to because I guess she was just bored. But see, here's the problem. Vanessa has a husband. And see, the relationship that Barry and Vanessa started to grow and nurture wasn't just a platonic relationship. Because I'm not gonna lie, that this Barry was raising this girl up crazy. Like, they spending every single day together. They over here chilling, talking. He even gets this woman to start cooking for this nigga. You're a bee. What do you don't need a full course meal. The crazy part about it is that he's doing all of this knowing that she has a husband, who in fact, to add fuel to the fire, is allergic to
Barry ain't give no fucks.
Bees. And the fucked up part about this whole situation is that Barry and Vanessa don't even try to hide it. It's very obvious that they have feelings for each other. I still don't understand, because one is a human being and one is a bee. Like, how would that even genetically work? I mean, that
shit, one sting and he out of here.
Probably be like this. It's like, that's just not gonna fit. Like, no. The worst part about this movie, in my opinion, is that when Ken starts to peep what is going on, Vanessa then tries to gaslight him into thinking that he's just being insecure. Like, brother, how am I being insecure? A bee is literally taking my girl right from me. And you know what the worst part about this is? Is that Barry the bee that Ken is allergic to was rubbing this whole thing all over his face. Pause. No pause. This nigga was coming on his face. He was spreading pollen all around the house. You got Ken coming in the crib automatically sneezing because he's breaking out. Then you got this bee eating at your table, taking your seat, drinking with your girl, flirting with your girl. Like, bro, now I'm gonna be honest, bro. If I was Ken, I'm killing it. I don't care. Where's the rage spray? And you know the funny part about this is that Ken actually stood on business too. Like, me and him are twins for real. He actually tried to pack him up multiple times, man.
Reasonable crash out.
Every single time he tried to, something or someone would stop him. We can all probably guess who the someone was. Like, geez Louise, yo, Ken, please just break up with this girl. He's disrespecting your manhood. Please, what does she have on you? Do you like getting bad? She not only let another man, another insect, I don't know, another bee come into your crib, put his meat on your table, and risk your girl pollinating and spreading all of his mushy goodness all around the house for you to sneeze at, and she did nothing about it. Matter of fact, she encouraged it. Matter of fact, she let him take her. Come on, man. And the worst part about this movie is that at the end, Barry ends up being with Vanessa. Like, again, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if his stinger would just go into her, but they end up together. And they also end up gaslighting Ken so much to the point where he goes back crazy, which honestly I can't blame him. I mean, every single man would do the same thing if his girl got taken by a bee. But in my opinion, there is no way Ken is the villain in this story, and I hate that this movie tried to gaslight us into thinking that shit, because we were kids. We didn't
see. And my whole thing is, right, I never really seen Ken as a villain or like a nigga that was in the way, right? He was just, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it's just you just the nigga it's your turn. And Barry came through, stood on business, showed that he was passionate about his honey. Vanessa fucked with that. And guess what? Vanessa was a florist. That nigga Ken, he wasn't the best husband because that nigga ain't give no fucks about flowers at all. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Barry did. You want to know why? Because bees pollinate flowers and he's pollinating her flower. And Ken got to live with that. Oh, well.
Know any better. We thought bees had like us, man. I don't know. We thought it was possible. If anything, Barry was actually the villain in my opinion. And Vanessa was for sure his Harley Quinn, ruining a grown working class man's life for absolutely nothing. But this isn't even the craziest situation we're finna talk about. And a matter of fact, we're finna talk about the craziest one next. Because honestly, I feel like it's the one y'all have all been waiting for.
Thanos. Yes. That nigga Thanos was 100% right to snap his fucking thumb and eliminate half the population. When I say that half these niggas need to go, these OF models need to go, these scammers need to go, these fucking, I was gonna say content creators, but I'm trying to be one of them. We could stay. We coolin'. The reaction content creators is cool on this end. All these other people need to go. The Jack Dohertys need to go. Aiden Ross need to go. Like when Thanos did his big one when he snapped his fingers, and niggas started hating OD and went back in time and stopped him from doing something that would have potentially saved the universe, if you ask me. But hey, let's keep going.
Okay, this one's most likely the reason why you clicked on the video, so let's get straight to it. Recently, it's been a popular trend to say that Thanos wasn't really wrong at all. But in all reality, I don't think a lot of y'all truly do know why he has this mentality, because his backstory is pretty interesting. See, Thanos grew up on a planet called Titan, and a major issue on his planet was overpopulation. See, Thanos suggested that they just killed off half of the population so that at least the other half of the population could live and survive, because the planet was about to be end. But the government of this world deemed that way too inhumane, which I do agree. I mean, how would you even go about that? Like, would it be a lottery? Would it be nationally televised? Like, imagine turning on the TV to find out if you were finna die. Like, the fate of your life was based on a lottery. But anyways, eventually the whole planet ended up being extinct. And this obviously made Thanos very, very sad, but there was one silver lining. He was right. See, if Titan did massacre half of their population, they would have survived. But they didn't, and that's why they died. And in all reality, if you're just crazy like Thanos, that's all the motivation you need to just go and kill people. And from that point on, he proceeded to commit mass genocide to the whole universe until he found out about the Infinity Stones, and then it basically sped up the process, and we know the rest because the rest is history. Now, a lot of people think he was right in doing this because we as human beings are parasites to our world. I mean, all we do is just suck and slobber up all of the planet's resources, and then
I don't know about all that.
Completely milk it dry, and then there's nothing else left. And at the same time, if we sucked up some of the resources, but
yo, what's up with all this sucking and sexual puns, my nigga?
Not all of it at a cool little rate, it wouldn't be that bad, but we're just doing it way too fast, and it's just we just got to stop that. We got to slow it down. And people think the best way of slowing it down is by just cutting half the population, which in theory does sound correct, and that's why a lot of people agree with Thanos. I'm not one of them. Y'all know this is
and I think my main reason why I agree with Thanos, right? And I think the main problem is, right, obviously the way he went about it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? You don't use brute force to go in, you know what I'm saying, put your own plan into action. But the whole thought behind it, what is like half the population needs to go, he was kind of right in the sense that half the population that you could be getting rid of could be all of the bad, could be all bad people. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't think about it that way. You could have been getting rid of murderers. You could have been getting rid of thieves. You could have getting rid of pedos, like little shit like that. So the maybe the action and the route that he took that we arrived at wasn't, you know what I'm saying, the way to go. But the idea of it is not a crazy one. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
It's supposed to be a video about villains that were low-key, right? But I want to tell y'all about one that I know is wrong. And it's not for the reason that you think. I think before he got to Infinity Stone, everything he did wasn't as bad as it seemed. Yeah, the raging war and mass genocide throughout the universe, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie, I can't justify that. But I will admit, even though it was unethical, he was correct about Titan. The only way they could solve that problem wasn't by nuking half the population. And their unwillingness to do that nuked the entire population. When a decision has to be made, it has to be made, or else everything will fail. So I do agree with that. But once he got them Infinity Stones, there is no justifiable reason that he should have did that, boo. Like, you're telling me you got this big gauntlet that will allow you to do anything you can imagine in this world. And
the first thing that he chose to do was solve Earth's problems, because obviously him going through what he went through on his planet, he seen the inevitable that was going to happen to Earth. He could have just fucking did to Earth what he did to every other planet, where he just caused mass genocide, and boom, nobody get to survive except the fucking Avengers, basically. But he chose to, okay, I can save y'all. It may not be the way that y'all want to be saved. It may not be the most righteous way to be saved, but by me doing this, I can help y'all. Now let me snap my fucking thumb and get rid of some of these niggas. And that's what he did.
First thing you decide to do with it is just murk half the population. Like, there was way better solution to this. Like, for one, if this gauntlet can really do anything, why don't you just double all of the resources for everybody in the universe? That would immediately fix every single problem we have. And I've seen some debates about that solution theory, because that's not my theory, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, I completely stole that. But none of them really make sense. Like, the main one I'm seeing is that, yeah, Thanos could do that, but then once the population doubles, he would just have to keep on redoing it. Like, bitch, okay, I mean, who cares? Let's keep on redoing. Any solution is better than eliminating life for no reason. And if he really wanted to stop doing it so much, all he has to do is just double it one time and tell everybody that if you ever go near that line that I just said, you will be murdered immediately. You know I'll do it now. Like, you didn't have to go to those extreme lengths when there was just such a better solution. I feel like he just wanted to murk half the population just to prove a point. And I'm sorry, that's just not a good reason. But the last person I'm going to talk about does actually have a good reason for doing what he does. I just may or may not agree with the methods.
Rabbit.
And the character I'm talking about is the bunny. So yeah, I just figured out his name is White Rabbit. My fault to the DMC.
Well, I'm about to learn something because I don't know shit about no White Rabbit, to be honest.
Cursing me out through the screen. But if you don't know what Devil May Cry is, it's a popular game series that's also recently turned into a Netflix show. And it's a pretty good watch, I'm not gonna lie. But unfortunately, to explain this character's motives, I will have to spoil you. So spoiler warning right now.
Feel free.
But please do, I need to watch time. So basically the show is about this guy named Dante. Basically he's half demon and half human. But let's talk about the main antagonist, the White Rabbit. See, Rabbit wants to destroy the Earth, but not in the way you think. Rabbit is ruthless. He would sacrifice his own henchmen for his own personal goals. And also he used another man's child as blackmail. And then once he was done with him, he tried to kill him. So he had no intentions of ever returning his child back to this man. Overall, this guy was just ruthless and disgusting in the ways that he tried to achieve his goal of world destruction. But let me tell you why he was trying to destroy the world. Because when you hear his backstory, all of this kind of makes a little bit of sense. See, Bunny was an orphan growing up. He bounced around from multiple foster homes, some being abusive. One of the homes being so bad that one night he decided to just run away with nothing but his only prized possession, an Alice in the Wonderland book. Eventually he stumbles across a portal to what seemed like another world, and since he had nothing else to live for in this world, he decided to enter it. But little did he know, he willingly just entered the gates of hell. He would soon surely regret this, because as soon as he entered hell, also known as Makai, every single breath he took was poisoning because the air was toxic to breathe in. Also, there was monsters running around eating other monsters and demons, and honestly, this whole world was just screwed up, horrible, torture. It was the reason why it was called hell. It's the reason why it is hell. But eventually a chill demon stumbled across Rabbit and he led him to his village. Where we come to find out that not every single demon is bad and that a lot of them just want to live normal, regular lives. And since he had nowhere else to go, the village took him in as one of their own, where he stayed for years and ended up being a part of their culture. And everything's good at first, until he remembered that he was in hell and everything is horrible. I mean, hell doesn't have blue skies and rainbows. I mean, all it has is death. So Rabbit decided to make a device that could open portals so he could transfer his people back to Earth where they could actually
So how did he go from a human to a rabbit?
live and breathe without actively dying. And once he crosses back into his regular world, he starts transferring more and more people. It's a rescue mission. And everything's going perfectly fine until Lady and her crew pulled up. See, here's where shit gets twisted. See, even though these demons were good people, in the eyes of humans, they're still demons. And when I say in the eyes of humans, I mean the United States government, which is why they created a task force to eliminate every single demon that they came across. And that task force was Lady and her crew. And they were on the clock that night, and they found demons coming out of a portal. So you could probably guess what happened next. Boy, it was a massacre. I mean, they left no man behind. Oh, every single demon baby was killed. Oh, it was bad. Well, every single person was killed except Rabbit. Which is like the most ironic thing out of all of this. Like, you're the person helping these people and you just see them die around you after they took you.
I mean, he ain't just see them die. This nigga basically, you know what I'm saying, led them to their death. Literally. I could get y'all back to the free world. Got these niggas back to the free world, and they all got offed. And he the only nigga left alive. Shit, I'd crash out too.
You into their world even though you didn't look like them, but the world you're from can't do the same for these people when they're in way more dire need. Yeah, I can kind of see why he crashed the fuck out later in the series, because after he seen that, he quickly went down his villain world domination arc. His one sole life purpose after this moment was to combine the regular world and the demon world so that everybody experienced hell, but eventually it would balance out because the US government and all of the nations would kill all of the monsters. I don't really know, but basically he was trying to sacrifice this generation in the hopes that the future generation would figure out how to coexist with these monsters and finally delete them out of the universe for good so that everybody can live peacefully one day, which when you look at it is very noble. But at the same time, I live on this earth and not on that earth, so fuck you. I don't want to see demons. Well, I'm glad he got packed up at the end of the series. R.I.P. Bozo. I'm not gonna lie. I can't sit here and act like I don't understand his reasoning, and if I was him, I would do any different. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't go to the lengths that he did. He literally sacrificed his own people just to achieve a greater goal, and also he was willing to sacrifice billions of people to achieve a greater goal.
And one thing I noticed that's a common theme amongst all these villains who, you know what I'm saying, had some right. They weren't justified in their actions, but their thought process was right because they're willing to do things that people who particularly are leaders that are afraid to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in powerful positions who, you know what I'm saying, the reason that they maintain that is because they're willing to do whatever to for the common good. You know what I'm saying? Would you sacrifice yourself to save thousands, or would you sacrifice thousands to save yourself? Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're in one of them situations, if you're a villain and you got this idea that you believe in, it's just all about how you go about it. And I feel like that's just like a how you say it, like a hidden message for real life. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's a hero in their own story, and everybody's a villain in somebody else's. And no matter what story you're in, sometimes whatever you want, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever you believe in, sometimes you got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want done. You know what I'm saying? And the villain that I resonate the most with, I will say, is Thanos, because he was right. I agree with him for different reasons. Obviously, this nigga just likes mass genocides and snapping fingers and putting planets into extinction because he lost his shit. I just think the OF bops and the scammers, the liars, the cheaters, the thieves, and the pedos, I just think they all should just not be here. And if they're not here as a result of Thanos snapping his fingers, shit, I ain't complaining, because I know I ain't going to be with one of them. But it's been your boy Rushmore Rick. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know which villain that you resonate the most with in the comments. And we're out of here. Deuces.